Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I cannot believe it's Monday morning, early Monday morning already, January 8th, 2024. I received a response to a question that somebody posted in Quora, and I'd like to read the multiple interesting answers. Of course, remember, these are just opinions of other people. These are people who have either had clients who have been quote unquote gang stalked, harassed by community stalkers, fusion center operatives, etc., or people who have performed a lot of research. So you can take what you like from it. Some of it's really good information, gives a little bit of alternative insight. What does being blacklisted by gang stalkers mean? Please hit the thumbs up, guys. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. It means that you are cut off from all means of support, jobs, friends, family. Everything you try to accomplish becomes 1,000,000% harder. An example is you may have a perfect credit and background check, and you will be denied a job or an apartment that somebody who does not have these credentials will get. You may start a website or YouTube channel and get next to no views while someone else steals your ideas and gets billions of followers but can barely speak a complete sentence. You may be intelligent and attractive and everyone will avoid you like the plague, or they will only bother with you when it's something they need from you. I will say this: most targeted people are truly kind, aware, empathic, honest, and stand for truth, and are targeted or bullied by the group that does not have these traits. Most of this targeting is pure projection and deflection and lots of gaslighting by people that refuse to wake up. They refuse to work on their issues. If you're targeted, you have your own mind. You're not part of the group think. Sadly, these groupies have everything by this world's standards. Friends, family, houses, good careers, but it means nothing. Because they would be rather out following us around and spending time with their so-called families and friends. Truth be told, they reject us because deep down they envy us. Our light reveals to them who they really are, minus the stuff of this world that they have that is not of any value without having truth and peace in your heart. And please remember, when they are treating you badly without cause, it's pure reflection of who they truly are and has nothing to do with you, and solely to do with themselves and their inner demons. Gang stalking is about power. When these stalkers do these tactics, it gives them a boost. Or by trying to lower you, it boosts them. The boost is not long-lasting. This is why they continue it daily, and it must continue. Basically, they are feeding off our battery source here, so they can boost themselves. If you're experiencing this, then almost certainly you are an awakened source player here. They want to neutralize your positive influence by trying to keep you at a low frequency and unsupported. But unlike them, we have our own energy source. And although we have times where we lose some battles or some energy, we are still connected and get refilled. And we do not have to harm others to achieve this. Sadly, they feed off of us. They're like energy vampires, when they could have their own battery source, and everything they do to us has to be repaid anyway, so they're just stealing their own fates. This is a universal rule: you reap what you sow. So now there's some more comments here. So now this is that was posted in another forum that is forwarded here. Okay, I'm going to read this. Targeted individuals, listen up, because here it is. GangStalkers are given $50,000 in return for installment of Elon Musk's Neuralink technology and a list of targets that they are contracted to gangstalk. A lot of these gangstalkers end up murdered to tie up the loose ends. All at the same time, he writes, I can't really say this, Joe Biden is behind the scenes hiding out on the side of the mountain in Ohio with all his keyboard warriors and cyber crusaders, all the rich and famous young actors, rappers, all your favorites, attacking targeted individuals' nervous systems, torturing them, tormenting them, invading their privacy, molesting them against their will, murdering, stripping their freedoms, destroying families, etc., all with directed energy weapons, highly advanced imaging tracking satellites, and supercomputers fitted with AI technologies that they picked up from the China black market to induce fear, while targeted individuals, stalkers, are harassing, tormenting their victims in person. Both of these tactics combined can be devastating and many times even fatal. Your eyes are literally a live camera for these creeps. They see what you see on screens in their little war rooms. They call it POV, point of view. Their satellite cameras are highly advanced. Have you ever effed around with Google Earth? How you can move a camera around? It's just like that. But they can put a camera almost anywhere. They can move it through walls. They can even put that MFer in your toilet bowl and watch you poop at will. And baby, you best believe these parasitic pedos do it, and they're getting off on it. They're using brain-to-computer interfaces, which allows them to monitor your thoughts, manipulate your mind with intrusive thoughts, and even manipulate body movement. They do this to people they're jealous of, and whoever may pose a threat to their cause, which is world domination. Hitler said, if I can control minds, then I can dominate the world. They actually got these technologies from Hitler back during World War II, when he and his neo-Nazi scientists were working on artificial intelligence. Why do you think the world is so shitty these days? It's because of these parasites. Why do you think everyone is all of a sudden, I don't even know if I can say it, identifying as ridiculous sects that they aren't these days? It's because these creeps start manipulating minds at a young age. And I'm talking straight out of the womb, infants. Why do you think that everyone is so sensitive, so weak, so gay, so fragile, so misinformed these days? Why do you think our women are, I can't really say this, being sexually active with men? Men are walking around, I can't even say this. They're walking around with sexual devices, etc., etc. And he's going like, what the hell, you know? It's because the people responsible are all interested in the same sex. That's what they want. It goes hand in hand with selling your soul to Steven Spielberg, who they call the devil of Hollywood. Google it. Steven Spielberg. Mind control. And guess what pops up? Exactly. It's not hard to connect the dots here, people. I have been targeted for 5 years now. V2K, the whole 9. Everything. Because I'm a highly gifted music artist and stand-up comic who refuses to live by their rules. They hate how gifted and original I am, and they want to control me. I said, F no. They've been hitting me with all they've got every second of every day for 5 years. And I'm still alive because of the ABC agencies and God. These organizations are working tirelessly to help and protect the targeted. They've helped me keep loved ones. And I saved the whole time. I'm in close contact with these 3 organizations. We communicate frequently. They're all working together to bring these parasites to justice. Are you kidding me? This can't be real. And if anyone tells you anything different in regards to who's responsible, other than what I just mentioned above, they're either lying or clueless, or they're misinformed. Rest assured, justice will be served. This country does not negotiate with terrorists. He's saying, do you think the CIA, FBI, and NSA take orders from the president? Absolutely not. He's treasonous. He's powerless. And his own administration doesn't even mess with him anymore because they know deep down he's in with all of this. This is the biggest story in human history. Be patient. God's timing is perfect. In the meantime, he says, get yourself a Q-Wave Defender. I can't really give the other advice, folks. You have to be in the right state to have those pew-pews as a concealed carry. And now he's saying, this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So keep God and hope alive. Google directed energy weapons targeted individuals. The first 2 websites that show up on the list will provide you with all the information that you need about the weapon systems, including the patents, real hard proof. Now, one person gave advice. Weighted blankets help somewhat with the dew. Well, I have a weighted blanket. I was just talking to my daughter about it. Like, I don't have a problem getting under the covers at night, but getting out in the morning, these blankets are heavy. So now this person is responding, come on, dude, Elon Musk? As if we're that important. He says, I'm not a Christian, but it's Satanists and occultists. Read The Secret Life of a Satanist. Anton LaVey wanted to start a police state where the weak are weeded out and the achievement-oriented leadership were left to pursue the mysterious of black magic. There's no magic. Magic is manipulation. That's it. So stop with the billionaire and political conspiracies. They don't have time even hiring people to do this. If it got out, they'd lose everything. It's the small groups of hocus pocus twits. That's it. So that's another opinion. I mean, some of this is quite humorous, folks. And then this man named Jack says, you will know for sure, once you're blacklisted, shops won't even fix your vehicle if your car breaks down. And by that point, hundreds, possibly thousands of people have been told awful, horrible lies about you. Also, people will look at you with pure hate and malice in public. Of course, because they've been lied to mostly by someone with authority or in a position of power. The rich elite also definitely love this evil game, too. It needs to be stopped. It's going on all over the world now, not just the USA. And most people worth being around don't believe the gossip. But most people are unattractive and most people are this doesn't sound right. Unattractive and follower jealous of someone that does not have to live like a narcissist. That's just the weird language there. So now somebody posts a question, what happens if you lash out on GangStalkers? And one response is, do not give them the satisfaction of lashing back out at them. They will only use your actions against you and use the interaction as further proof that you're guilty of whatever they blame you for. It will end up only adding fuel to the fire, and I would not recommend giving them any more ammunition to use against you. The same with bullies as children. You have to ignore them. These are bullies that were not disciplined as kids, and now we have to deal with them as adults. What you can do is to pay attention to every little detail that you can. License plates, the make and model of vehicles, any identifiers for the bullies, anything that you can use to identify them with. They know that what they're doing is illegal. The neighborhood watch catch on that I was cataloging those vehicles harassing me. The cop had the gall to have a meeting with them in the same park that I was trying to take a nap in my car and less than 20 feet away from me. He was there to reassure them that they were doing nothing wrong and there was nothing that I could do to harm them. He wanted me to know that the meeting was about me. He made direct eye contact with me while he said these things. I took a picture of him and his infant son and left a nasty review for that park, using the picture that called out the cops. For encouraging that behavior. Those 5 pictures are the highest viewed content that I ever produced. It's time that we give them a taste of their own medicine. But we have to be able to identify them without a doubt. So, those were interesting. What does being blacklisted by gang stalkers mean? I'm going to give you some of my experiences. When I lived in Manalapan, New Jersey, I tried to sell my home literally for 3 years. My house should have sold in like 6 months. But I found out with the 3rd listing, maybe it was the 4th listing, that my house had been blacklisted. And how I found out was my ethical realtor placed on speakerphone another realtor yelling at mine that she can only sell my house for a certain amount of money. And I responded to her, and she hung up on me. So it was the evidence that I needed that somebody had alerted these other realtors to not sell my house for, for anything more than a certain amount of money. That pretty much is what is happening here. I listed 2 pieces of land that I have. And I gave it to a realtor for, I think it was 3 months. And I sufficiently liked her. I thought that she was competent at the time, but she did absolutely nothing. She was supposed to send out, the new listing cards. I didn't want her to send them out locally because I didn't think that anybody locally would be interested in the 2 lots. So, I mentioned to send it out to Lexington. Here's the people of Lexington, it's getting a little more crowded there, and maybe they want some land further south, more rural area. She never sent me a copy of the cards that she sent because she never sent the cards. She did receive phone calls, but none of them ever came to me. She never called me with anybody asking any questions at all. She never asked me any future questions about either of the listings. And then when the listing finally ended, never heard from her again. Highly bizarre. I mean, realtors want to sell land. They want to make a profit. So I will not be listing those 2 pieces with any realtor. If somebody wants to purchase the land, there are a lot of people out there looking for land. I'm selling a piece of land for 3.1 acres and another one. I was originally told it was 1.67 acres, and then suddenly it turns into 1.43 acres. So I will tell anybody that if you're going to purchase that smaller piece of property at some point in the future to get an additional survey on that piece. But the 3.1 has been surveyed. It's on a separate deed. And I'm selling that one for $62,000. There was one piece of land over the summertime. It was 1 acre of flat land that sold for $25,000. It was raw lands. The raw lands around here, there are no restrictions. You can pretty much do whatever you want. You can build a house. You can put an RV on it. You can put a yurt on it. You can pretty much do whatever you want. And the land is fairly restricted, unrestricted around here. So like in many cities and states, the restrictions are that you've got to file for permits for this or that. The only thing that Kentucky requires is that you have a septic system. So that's the only requirement here. But you can have animals. You can do whatever you want here, pretty much. You don't have to go through the bells and whistles and hoops to get permits for building, etc. But yeah, so that happened to me. I realized that I was blacklisted in New Jersey, and then they're doing it here. I don't know there's so much of this blacklisting here, is that I know for a fact, I've witnessed it, that my neighbors, ones you all know about, have approached every person that's ever worked here, spread rumors, lies about me, said that I don't pay people, threatens one of my workers that if he continued to work here cleaning my property, that he was going to be part of their lawsuit. Because what these criminals want to do, and this is what the vandalism part of owning property is about also, it's about making you look as if you don't care for your property. So all the time while you're caring for your property, spending the money, cutting the grass, seeding, weeding and stuff, when you're not looking, when you're asleep, they're vandalizing it. They're planting grass seed in your garden beds. They're spreading fungus and mold all over your grass to brown it out. They have drones and small airplanes and helicopters flying over your property, browning out the grass. This is all deliberate. This to me is the domestic terrorists. And just because they're hovering above my property doesn't mean that they're not trespassing. And it's the same thing. Like people say, it's no touch. It's untraceable. Well, how does somebody wake up with 3 incisions in the back of your ear? Does that happen by itself? And I will say it. I'm going to say it. When for 2 years, I moderated the Chief Damon Jones podcast. I ended up resigning from that after the 2 years. Long story, won't get into recording it. If anybody wants to know privately, more than happy to tell you why I quit. Besides the fact that I wasn't being paid, not even a dime. You taken advantage on a lot of these podcasts. And I have come to the opinion that most of the hosts of those podcasts, the ones that create them, work for both ends. They work for both sides. They're not really there to help. They're there to financially rape people and collect information. But anyway, I mentioned on the podcast that when I was in New Jersey, and it took a while for me to even reveal this to, most people, and certainly speaking out loud about it, that when I was in New Jersey, I was implanted with 3 circular round objects in the labia of my vagina. That's right, all in a row. Probably the 3 Masons, right? The 3 Mason witches. Somebody entered my house and did that. I remember waking up with it and saying, what the hell is this? And then at first I thought, well, maybe I'm just breaking out with something. But they never went away, and they're hard objects. But when I was on that podcast and I finally revealed that had happened to me, guess what happened, folks? The criminals covertly entered my house and removed 2 of them. Poof, gone, disappeared. My friend who is now deceased, her name is Kim Straub. She was a targeted woman in Tennessee. She was a nurse, registered nurse. Months before she was unalived, she told me she was so fearful because she was going into New York to one of her husband's conferences. And she said that one of the last times she was there, like a year ago, is when they covertly implanted her. And she has noticed that they have been removing her implants. So they will covertly implant you and then covertly remove the plants. For whatever reason, out of fear, out of you talking about it like me. It wasn't until I spoke about it publicly that they disappeared. Well, one is still there, but two of them disappeared. How are they able to do that, you ask? Well, they can use drugs. They poison your food. They could use something called scopolamine. This is commonly used in third world countries where tourists are assaulted. Like somebody will approach a tourist and say, ask them a question. Before you know it, they're blowing this in their face and they're blacking out and they're being robbed and they don't remember anything that happened because of this drug. And it does exist. You can look it up online, scopolamine. But if they have your DNA, they can target that portion of your brain that puts you to sleep. How do they enter your homes? I mean, these are experts. Come on, guys. They can get in anywhere. They can pick a lock. They'll break into your home. They'll find your keys. They'll make copies of your keys. They've picked all the locks here. I went into my chicken coop the other morning, and I have 2 locks on both of my chicken coops. Actually, 3 locks. A deadbolt on one of them. And I went to open the one chicken coop. I took the first lock, opened the first lock, then put my key in the second one. It was open. They had opened it. Just the way I woke up one morning to find the window, the passenger window of my car was rolled down. These people like to play tricks. They like to play the mind games. The psychological operations, like, oh, you must have forgotten. No, I didn't forget. I didn't forget to turn up the window. I never opened that window. So yes, these criminals will covertly implant you. And in the community section of YouTube, I posted today the photos of the new implants, the incisions, I'll say, behind my ear. There are 3 incisions behind my ear. And yes, somebody says that it looks like it's painful. Yeah, it is painful. It's very painful. I've been applying, I applied a peroxide and castor oil. This is not normal. Somebody did this deliberately to me. This is an all-out assault on my physical body. Oh, there are other horrific things they've done to my physical body. I can't even talk about it. But you guys out there, a lot of it's happened to you too. So anyway, what does being blacklisted by GangStalkers mean? It means you're cut off from all means of support, jobs, friends, family, everything you try to accomplish becomes 1,000,000% harder. And this person says, most targeted people are truly kind, aware, empathic, honest, and stand for the truth, and are targeted or bullied by the group that does not possess these traits. Most of this targeting is pure projection and deflection, and lots of gaslighting by people that refuse to wake up and refuse to work on their own issues. If you're targeted, you have your own mind. You're not part of the group think, and sadly these groupies have everything by this world's standards. Friends, families, houses, good careers. But it means nothing because they would rather be out following me around. They'd rather be out following you around than spending time with their so-called families and friends. Truth be told, they reject us because deep down they envy us. They envy our light.